Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be working the EDPM 2014 past paper question that looks at a semi-block style letter that is done with mail merge. As usual, we first have to go through the question to see what is required, and afterwards we type the document accordingly. So in front of me I have the instruction for that document. It says produce the main document and the data file following all instructions. Using A4 or letter size paper, create a suitable letterhead with an appropriate logo using the information below. So we're given the information here, the 5th Annual Regional Forum on Primary Education. Alright, so that information is given here. So all this information we're going to be using to do the letterhead. Remember, when we do the letterhead, we try to stick, not hard and fast, but the name of the organization, font size 14, the address, font size 12, and the telephone, fax and email or website, if there's any, font size 10. Times New Roman, but we can change the font style for the name of the organization. Alright, the next thing says that we, using the letterhead, create the letter in semi-block style with the following margins. Alright, if you are not aware of how a letter should be done in a semi-block style, I can link that above so that you can get an idea of how to do that letter. Alright, after that, we are expected to save the main document as letter. E says print one copy of the main document showing the fields. So it is expected that you will be at your school and you'll be typing this document, and as you do what they ask, you send it to the printer. So the invigilator will be the one guiding this process. Alright, and F says create the data file from the information given on page 5. Alright, we're just working one question here, but we'll see what that speaks to. And again, chances are the question may be restructured because I don't think we'll be printing anything of such, but everything will now be electronic. So let me just insert that there. So maybe you will not be printing, but because this document is from 2014, this is the custom, or this was the custom at the time. Alright, so once we have and then we said we should create the data file from the information. Alright, so the data file is the same thing as your data source, right, which is a listing of all the person's information that the letter will be going out to, because we'll be doing a mail merge. So we're expected to do that data file on a separate page based on what this is saying, create the data file and save that sheet as data 1. H says that once we save it as data 1, we're now going to sort the data according to last name, and then we're going to save it again. We're going to resave it, save as, right, data 2. J, we should print one copy of the data files, right, data 1 and data 2, showing the records. And K, merge the documents. So we're going to use we're going to merge a letter along with data 2, which is the sorted table, and print the first and the last letters. And following this, we are asked to produce and print an envelope addressed to Mrs. Bianca Madison. Alright, so let's get to the letter and the data source and see how that should be done. Alright, so now I have the letter in front of me. It starts off with the word logo, but that now we are supposed to insert our logo in the letterhead, alright, along with the information that was given to create our letterhead. So we are now looking at us being outside of the letter. So we have the reference information that starts it off, and then it has candidate's initial. Now note, when you see candidate's initial, this is not a word that you should write out, but rather you should put the initial of your name. If your first name starts with S and your last name starts with W, then you'll write SW. Alright, then we have today's date. Now, although today's date is here, bear in mind that we were asked to do a semi-block style letter, and as such the date should be in the same line with the reference. Alright, so this is just give you the information, but you should know how to format that with the knowledge of the semi-block style letter. And then here we have our merge fields. All right, so title, first name, last name, position, company, address 1 and address 2. So these are the things that we're going to be using to do our data source. Or as the question puts it, data file. All right, note also, let me quickly look at that again, that we are doing a semi-block style letter. So it has some things of the indented style letter and the block style letter accordingly. I'm seeing commas after each thing here with a full stop at the end. Note that we're doing a semi-block style letter, so it does use commas, but we do not use our full stops. All right, and the greeting line is something that is inserted by Microsoft Word based on the information that you input above. All right, it starts off by saying the 5th annual regional. I'm seeing this balloon here, and then it goes with an arrow, so that means insert. So we read the word forum, and then I'm seeing another insert symbol here with the word on above. So it should read the 5th annual regional forum on primary education, and I'm seeing the E being underlined, and to the right I see UC, meaning uppercase. All right, let me zoom up a bit, meaning uppercase. So the 5th annual regional forum on primary education will be held in Barbados from Nov, and I'm seeing in full, so you must write out this word, November 18 to 20, 2014. I'm seeing this symbol here, meaning run on, so it means that this paragraph should continue in the next sentence beside this. So it should says, as you know, this is an opportunity for primary school educators from around the region to share their knowledge and skills with their colleagues. All right, I'm seeing this symbol here. This is an insert symbol, so something should go here. All right, so we'll have to look to see what that is. So let's go down. All right. So, okay, so this will be the paragraph that should be inserted there. Why? Because it comes after the closure of the letter. All right, it comes after the closure of the letter. This is the complementary clause and the signature block. So this should be the paragraph that should be inserted there. So it should read in that paragraph, we are inviting you to share your knowledge with your colleagues by delivering a presentation on, and it says we should bold and italic this information here, and we're going to insert presentation topic. There you have the arrows to show that this should be a merged field as well. All right, I'm seeing which, and I'm seeing to, and the to is crossed out with the dotted line under it. All right, so that should be there. So it should read on presentation topic, and then it says TET, to be delivered. All right, to be delivered during the morning session on, and you have presentation date, which is another merge field. All right, and then you have the subject of the letter is invitation to make a presentation. Remember, I said to you that you will normally be given time to read through the entire document, because there are things at the end of the document that should be at the beginning, etc. So you're always expected to read through everything. All right, but we're not finished with our letter, because this paragraph is what should have been placed after the paragraph with colleagues. Then it should be here. Then the other paragraph should read, kindly let us know by July 15 if you are able to make the presentation. Please email Mrs. Farad Blackman at, and lowercase f and b, they're underlined, f.blackman@edufor.org with your response. Then it says, we look forward to hearing from you. Yours sincerely. Now it says that yours, the Y is underlined, it should be in uppercase, and then the S is underlined, it should be in lowercase. And how you know which is which? The Y is currently in lowercase. So it means that the UC would mean that this should be up. And the S is in uppercase, so the LC would mean that it should be lowercase. Then we have Fayan Walker, Mrs. Coordinator. All right, and note I'm seeing a full stop on Mrs., but this being the semi-block style letter, we will not put it there. All right, I'm going to quickly go over to Microsoft Word to the letter that I have done for us to format it accordingly. All right, so here is my letter. I would have created a letterhead, and to the top right, I would have just type some number trying to come up with a candidate number. All right, in your exam, you are a number and not a name. All right, you used your name for your portfolio, but in your exam, you are now a number and not a name. So you need to remember your candidate number, which is your center number plus your unique 4-digit number. All right, and then I created the letterhead from the information that was given, and I looked up a unique logo. All right, so this letter is not properly formatted. I just typed it, and I plan to format it along with you. All right, so this is too close to the letterhead, so I'm just going to enter one more time, and that is better. Now, because this is a semi-block style letter, I know that I have my initial here because the question says candidate initial. All right, now the date was here in the question, but this is not the block style letter. It is a semi-block style letter, and as such, it should be in the same line as the reference. I'm going to put mine at 3.5 inches, and it should be month, day, year, comma. No full stop at the end. We would have placed the full stop as it relates to the indented style letter. Then I have a double space. You could have a triple space. It's either a double or a triple space. All right, because this is a one-page letter and there's some space at the bottom, I'm just going to put mine in triple space. Then I have my merge fields, right? And this would have been given to me from the letter, title, first name, last name, and I would have typed each. Let me do one for you. I would have typed each. So after I type first name, I put a space. If I do not put the space, then when I merge a document, the first name and the last name will be joined together as one. And I want them to be separate names. So after you type each, you put a space, and then I put my 2 less than signs. Then I write last. I'm going to write last underscore name because that's how it was on the paper. Then I put 2 greater than signs and a comma. All right. So we place in the commas here because it is a semi-block style letter. All right. Normally, addressed to the last information there, we put a full stop in the indented style, or you leave off the comma, or some person will put a comma there at the end. All right, I rather just not put anything there. Then we have the greeting line, and after the greeting line, which would be Dear Mr. Leng, for example, then we also need a comma or a colon. All right, so I'm just going to put comma all throughout for this. All right, then I have my subject heading. Now the subject heading can either be flushed to the left margin or it can be centered, whichever is your preference. All right, and then being in initial capitals, I am going to either bold it or I'm going to underline it. The question didn't say which one, but the custom is to in initial caps and underline. So that is a custom. So that is my subject heading. All right. Then the information is there that I should have typed. All right. And so I would have done that accordingly and inserted the paragraph that was at the end here, etc. So everything is in place. All right. So everything is there. Yours sincerely, comma, Fayon Walker, Mrs. And I took off the full stop, coordinator. Oh, and guys, another thing I forgot, which is very important, is that this information should be over to the center. All right. So we have to carry that over to about 3.5 inches. All right. It should not be blocked, as this is a semi-block style letter. So it should be over to about this point to line itself up with the date. All right, and there you have it. So that will now complete my letter in the semi-block style. What I need to do is that I'm going to go back to the letter and we look at the data source aspect. So here we have the various addresses of the persons to whom we are going to send this letter. So we have 4 here. So we have Miss Carol-Ann Messiah, principal, the name of the institution, the address of the institution. Remember, we had 2 things inside of the letter: presentation topic and presentation date. So that is here the topic that they would want her to speak on and the date for that. Likewise for Mrs. Bianca Madison and Mr. Michael and Mr. Dwayne. All right, so all this information is here. So we're just going to do it for 4 persons. So I am going to create my data source and paste this information in. All right, so I would have created my data source. Let me go to that. All right, so here is my data source. I just typed it and left it as is. So I would have inserted some headings: title, first name, last name, position, company, address 1, address 2. And this is everything that is found in the recipient's address section of my letter. Then I had inside the body of the letter presentation topic and presentation date. I had to turn my paper in landscape, although the question didn't tell me to do that, but I had to turn it in landscape so that everything will hold across and look appropriate. All right, but I still follow the margin that was set for top, bottom, which should be 1, and left and right should be 1.25. So I still inserted that. All right, so the question had said that I should save the document as data 1. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, and I'm going to name this document data 1. All right, data 1, and I'm going to press save. Now, following this, it says that I should sort this table according to last name and save it as data 2. So I'm going to highlight all the records, and I'm going to go to Tools, Table Tools. I'm going to click on that. And when I click on Table Tools, it has something known as Layout. So I'm going to select Layout, and I see something to the right known as Sort. I'm going to select Sort, and it says what to sort by. So I'm going to check. Column 1 is title, column 2 is name, column 3 is last name. So it's on column 3. All right, but if it wasn't on column 3, all right, then I would select the column that I wanted to sort by, and I select ascending order and press OK. So if you look now, you realize that it is sorted Brown, Lane, Madison, and Messiah. All right, good. So the next thing it says that I should do is to save this, File, Save As, and when you select Save As, it creates a new document. If I just press Save, it would have updated the first document that I had, which was data 1. All right, so it's important to select Save As, and I'm going to say data 2 and select Save. So now this data file has been saved as data 2. I am now going to do my mail merge. I can now close this document, all right, and go back to my original letter and start my mail merge. All right, guys, so now that we have drafted our letter, we have drafted our data file, it's time to put these two together. So what do? I go on my ribbon and I select Mailings, Start Mail Merge. If you look to the right here, nothing can be accessed. All right, and that is because the mail merge process has not yet been started. So I will select Start Mail Merge, and I will select Letters. Once I've done that, I select Recipients. Now you can either type a new list or use an existing list. All right, I've done a video on this aspect, how to select recipients or mail merge, and you can watch that. But for this question, we were asked to do a data source, which basically is to type a table and then we link it. And that was done, so I'm just going to select Use Existing List. Now, when this dialog box opens, I will now have to search for where I would have saved that document. So I'm going to go to Quick Access because it was recently done and select Data 2 and press Open. Once I do that, as you can see, to the right is now activated. I can access information here. So I'm now going to select Insert Merge Fields. But how am I going to do that? I'm going to go to each field, highlight it, and then I'm going to Insert Merge Field, select the down arrow and click on the field that I want to be inserted. I'm going to select Title. I'm going to press a space because if I do not do that, then when I merge a document, the title and the first name will be joined together, and I do not want that. All right, now, how do you know if your merge field have been inserted? Realize that I use the less than and the greater than signs as placeholders, but when the actual fields are inserted, the merge tags appear and they are smaller and looks a lot different. So that is how I know that the merge field have now been inserted. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do that for all the merge fields. Highlight, insert, and put a space if I have more than one of them being together. All right. All right, now we could have left a blank space for this. All right, but the question asked us to do the first letter, which is the main document, and then we should print it. So that is why we have it here, and it provides a good visual for us to know when we're inserting where the thing should go exactly. All right, now when it comes to our greeting line, there's a section here on the ribbon that is called greeting line. All right, so I'm going to highlight that information and I'm going to insert. What I have here will disappear. So I'm going to highlight everything. Well, it will not disappear. It will be there still and I will have to delete it rather. So I'm going to select greeting line. Now when I select greeting line, it asks me the format that I want. Dear, then is it Mr. Randall? I could select the down arrow if I wanted something else. But what I wanted is Mr. Randall. All right. And then if I want a comma or I want a colon or I don't want anything, then I will select what I want. I'm going to select the comma. I already have a comma out on the letter, so I'm going to delete that. All right. And then it shows me what it will look like here. All right. And then I press OK. Once I do that, here it is now inserted. So what I had before, I'm going to delete that. All right. And then I'll continue and I'll do the same for my presentation topic. All right. And I'll do the same for my presentation date. And put back my full stop. Alright, I don't want this mark here to be bold, so let me take it off. Neither italicized. Alright, so that is it. So all my merge fields have now been inserted. Now the next thing I need to do before I finish and merge and do all these letters, alright, the question said to you that you should print the first and the last letter. So you can go to edit recipients list and you will see all the persons who you have in your data source, all right, or your data file, and all of their names will be checked. That means that a letter will be done for all of them, right? The question says the first and the last, so that means that these two, I will uncheck them and press OK, and then when I do the merge, I will only have letters for these two persons, all right? So I can leave it as that, and then I print the letter for them, all right? Or I can do it for all of them, and then when you are printing, you just print the first and the last one. All right, so I'll leave it for all of them. I just showed you that if in case your question requires you to just do for two persons. All right, and then I'm going to select preview results to see what this finished thing will look like. All right, so Bianca Madison, Department, Elementary School, Phillips. All right, I realized that the commas, I would have removed the commas when I was merging, inserting the merge fields a while ago, so I have to put them back. All right, so that is what I realized. Okay, the heading is there, the date is there, so everything else is there. So that's why the preview option is good. I just have to go back through now and put on back my commas. All right, and leave the last one, and then this one is there. All right, and then edit recipients is all of them. All right, so I'm now finished. I'm going to select finish and merge, edit individual document, and press OK. All right, so there you have it now. Mr. Michael Brown, comma, Information Technology Coordinator. I'm seeing Kingstown Primary. This person has 2 commas. All right. It wasn't there before, so it simply means that in this person's data file, I would have had a comma beside school. All right, and that is there. Let me go down. Here's the other person. See, they only have 1 comma here, which means that that is it. All right, so all the letters have been merged. All 4 letters have been merged. And that is it. All right, there's a final thing that the question would have asked for, and that is to do an envelope that is addressed to Mrs. Bianca Madison. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do an envelope at this time. I'm just going to copy Bianca's information that I don't have to type it over. So I'm going to copy that. All right, how am I going to do this envelope for Bianca? I'm going to press my Control-N and open a new Word document. All right, I am going to go to mailings and 2 things. All right, if it is that the question had asked for me to do an envelope for all the recipients, then I will go to Start Mail Merge and I would have selected envelopes, and then I would have selected my recipients and I would have gone through the process of inserting merge fields, and then I would be able to get an envelope for each person. But because the question was specific and said I should only print an envelope for Bianca, I do not need to do a merge. I just go to envelopes to the top left here, and then it opens like this. All right, so it has the delivery address. I'm going to paste Bianca's information, Control V, that I have, and that is it. Now, if it is that I wanted a return address, which is to the top left, right? Maybe I send a letter to Bianca and it cannot be delivered to her. All right, I'll provide my address, right? So that the letter, if it's supposed to be returned, will come back to me. But most times we do not use that. All right, and so there's an option for us to omit that from the envelope. So I'm going to check this box to omit it from the envelope. All right, and that is all that needs to be done. I can select options to see the size, envelope options to see the size envelope. All right, but this is the normal size that we use for letter size. All right, and so the envelope size is there. I can go to printing options, which shows me how to place the envelope in the printer, for right, with a face up or face down, and etc., and which way to position it for it to be printed. All right, and then I will press OK. Now, once I've done that, I just select print. Well, I will put the envelope in the printer and press print, and the information will be printed on it. But for our purposes, if it is that the question I said to attach the envelope to the letter, all right, then I would select add to document. In our case, all right, I'm going to select add to document for you to see how that will look. All right, because seeing that I'm saying you just send to printer, it will not have a visual of what this envelope may look like. So I'm going to select add to document, and here you have it. Realize that this now shapes like an envelope, and Bianca's information is at the center, bottom center of it. And that's how it would look, all right, if it is added to the document, and then below you'll have the letter for the person. All right, and that is it. I do hope that this video really assisted you in preparing for any mail merge letter that you may get in your exam, right? It was a bit lengthy, but it was worth it. If you stuck with me to the end, let me thank you for watching. All right, please like the video by giving it a big thumbs up. Please comment below. Let me know if you understood what took place here, and if it is that I should continue what I'm doing, right? But I'd like to thank you for being a part of my EDPM family. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, right? And please share the video with someone else who you think may benefit from this content in preparing for their examination. Thank you very much for watching as I try each and every time to make EDPM simple. See you in my next upload.